Hello, Rebel. Welcome to Hello, Rebel 10 GMan 10A. In fact, welcome to the second of our recaps. Now, this is going to be week 1 and 2. I do apologise. We couldn't find time to fit the last one in. Real life was very, very busy. Two of the kids insensitively decided to have a birthday within a week of each other. So what can we do, right? Now we're going to take a quick look at the leaderboard, and we're seeing there's a couple of people who have instantly distinguished themselves. Oh, before I go any further, I'm joined again by Mcnugget.
Thank you. Hello. Finally introducing me.
I was wondering how long you were going to wait, to be honest.
Yes. So, going to have a wee look at the leaderboard. Somebody.
We kind of called this a little bit, didn't we?
We did indeed.
And Batsman's Grob coming back through with a result as well. Now, Batsman's Grob, interestingly, has written a word article, like a written article, on who he thinks is going to win next week. So I've lightheartedly suggested we have a competition to see if we can predict more winners than him.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
So, but yeah, check that out. It should be on the Rebel News site hopefully by the time you catch this video, but I don't know. You'll have to speak to Basman's, but it looks entertaining. But anyway, Muppatillo and Basman's Grob both in 2-0. Gremzilla, the only one with a win and a draw, puts him in 3rd. And then we've got a couple other wins. We're going to talk about Lewisham in a bit because he had a game recently.
God damn Lewisham!
It has to be said, you're not doing so great. You're 0-1-1.
I'm not. But we'll see. We'll pick up in the second half of the season.
I think there's a Chug Man Milk is thinking the same thing. We'll see something when we look.
Chug are going for it, yeah.
Right, but yeah, there's been a couple of big wins as well. Look at this: 2-0, maybe a season over Zamaj de Severa. 3-2, the Rapsky. That must have been a game. 3-0 you got, which is whatever.
Yes, we'll discuss that.
That was week 2. Week 1 there was a 4-3, Tooth and Court over Glart, Death Grips Junior. That's a hell of a result as well. Now, we were talking about, there's a couple of things we were talking about last time, like the Crocodile Dundees managing a draw against you was quite impressive, given they didn't have their Crocs ago. I don't know what you were doing. You've got claw and everything.
I know.
And the Mark of Nurgle are finding out that it's quite painful as a first season's Nurgle.
Yeah, first season Nurgle are never any fun.
We're going to really quickly jump into the teams as well, and we'll take a quick look at the teams. We're not going to hover over them too much, but they've been 2 weeks of development, so it'll be interesting to see where they've gone. So we're going to start with the Damned Horde. This is Horde Master. First thing that jumps out is the Strength 4 Ghoul, 15 out of 16. He had that last time though, I believe.
Yeah, because we were discussing the option of what you take as the next level on that Ghoul.
Wrestle! Every time!
I'm a very big fan of Wrestling Strength 4. As mummies, I think, now if we're correct, Metal, did one of the mummies have 0 SPP?
I believe one of them's had a bit of a game, or 2.
And it just went on a bit of a tear-up, which is always good to see. Sadly, no block on them, but double guard's always good on Undead. One white doing the business, one white just one away from
about.
The level.
I mean, I'd personally be doing vanity passes between him and the Ghoul for a couple of turns if you can find it, because they both need 1, so that'd be quite nice.
Also, 3-man bench, which means he does sit with 190k in the bank.
I do believe Brock Lee was from someone else. Brock Lee and Maremma are both from other people's teams, which is why they're down at the bottom.
So he's been stealing players already.
He's been Pokemoning it, yeah. So
yes.
Let's go see if we can find out where they're from.
a few options here for Hornmaster of what he wants to spend the 190k on. He could take another Ghoul, but with the first 2 Ghouls still kind of unleveled, I don't like that. But I would like to see a stadium enhancement put through at the moment.
Well, a level 2 at least, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we've moved swiftly on already to the Crocodile Dundees. 3 block out of 6 Saurus is looking really good. Fresh Croxigar. Fresh from not having a niggle, which is very, very nice. And a movement 9 skink is really solid.
Yeah, me and Meshuggah's had a bit of a tear-up week 1, which involved basically both of us having atrocious dice during both our drives, which led to neither of us actually doing very much. Just lots of 1 in 9s, 1 in 9s, and field pickups from both sides, which is like 0-0, but it was a very fun game. No permanent damage either side as well, which is always good. Yeah, let's see if the mighty Donk can actually survive a game or two. I do notice his team motto is "We got a new Donk." So let's hope this donk survives a bit longer than the last
A
one.
new, better donk. I also know he's saving up for a team reroll, but having to rebuy a Croxigar is an expensive business.
Yeah, but just a final note is the 3 rookie Saurus are all within MVP range of leveling up, which is very good as well.
That's very, very good. And we're going to flip directly over to Zamaji Severa, which is T-Cold. I was going to do a little bit of a feature on getting to know the teams in the division. However, because we're doing a double week, I don't know if we'll have time. We'll maybe see if we've got time at the end to drop back and focus on our team. We'll see. But you already see the Yeti has picked up Mighty Blow. We do like a Mighty Blow Yeti.
We do indeed. One of the good things about the big guy Yetis is they do kind of have more of a life than other big guys because they don't start with Mighty Blow and do start with Claw, so you can go the Mighty Blow guard and even stand firm or grab option before having to recycle.
Well, you can't go grab because they've got Frenzy.
Ah, good point, sorry.
But you can go multi-block, which is an interesting way. I don't know, obviously, if the guys in the division know this, but if you've got a Frenzy player, you can take multi-block, and that actually, if you choose to multi-block, even if you only hit one dude, it stops you from following up on the Frenzy, because you can't follow a multi-block hit. So say you're potentially looking at getting Frenzy trapped, you could choose to multi-block, and as long as you can still do the block, it stops you from frenzying after them.
Yeah, that's definitely a good key skill to have there. In regards to the teams, both Ulfs have block, which is very handy, very reliable as well. 2 rookie Berserkers though, but they will be quick to pick up the SPP during the games, and a block guard runner, which is also a very good choice. I like a bit of guard on the Norse, and they need to take it wherever they can.
Yeah, I agree. Guard everywhere, if possible. And Agi as well is really nice. And Kick. I kind of like Dirty Player, but Kick isn't terrible.
Being down numbers at the moment, I don't hate the Kick over the Dirty Player.
I agree.
Because you can always use Loner for fouling.
Now we're going to jump over to the most movement-busted Skaven team I think I've ever seen.
There is... Is there more red in the ledger this week? No. But
I think they picked up an extra minus move along the way. But my word, look at Little Pain. He's a bit of a terror, isn't he? And Slazy.
Slazy has been doing the job. 24 out of 31 SPP already.
And he's only going to do more with that Claw Mighty Blow.
Exactly. Still not enough money for the second Storm Vermin. Oh no, he does have the second Storm Vermin movement to replace the movement busted one.
Well, I think you kind of want to replace the movement busted gut runners first. Storm Vermins can kind of work with move 6, but I think he needs to recycle Vanilla Mice and Kanye Pest as soon as humanly possible.
I know, the only thing is it puts a lot of pressure on Slazy to be doing the job, and then the more that Martial Splatters picks up SPP and MVPs, you just think it's more of a sync.
6 move is still good, whereas gut runners are entirely about movement and agility, and losing... I think he needs to replace the gutters first. It's a play style.
Our division also isn't the quickest, so it may look at his schedule and see who's got coming up when, and just think what's more valuable for him.
Okay, my last argument on this is that you tend to get a lot more SPP on gutters faster because they're the ones scoring.
True.
So probably better to get them recycled as soon as possible. We're going to move on to your team.
What team?
What happened to your blockers?
Kislev apparently roll hidden pals, hidden armor breaks, and hidden injuries.
I don't think it's hidden. Look, there's 2 of the guys missing. There's no hiding.
Just as a point, I do have Muppetillo next week.
That's going to be brutal.
Yeah. So Buckfast Barnes is going to have to be on a Stormer that game, I think, if I'm going to have any chance.
Yeah, and the worst part is you've got enough for a bench of a Hobbo bench, but you don't because you're missing 2 guys.
Yeah. The only good thing to come out the Kislev game for me was Nick Pure Raging, who did roll plus movement, and I am a big fan of plus movement on hobos.
Yeah, it just generally makes the team a bit more nippy, doesn't it?
You know what? It's the 2-turn touchdowns, and it also makes them a lot more flexible to move sides around the pitch. Just that extra bit of movement does help you transition a bit more on attack.
Anyway, that's enough about you.
Yes.
We've got Elachius next, or Lassus.
Who has some of a team as well left.
I don't know, it's okay. He's got a Witch Elf and 4 Blitzers, and it's not terrible. I mean, Strength 4 Blitzer, Tackle, Blodge, Step, Witch.
I'm looking at it thinking, where's Tackle? I don't know if I would have liked to have seen tackle on the Witch Elf over sidestep.
I think
But sidestep very good to stop being stuffed in response.
She's the frenzy machine. Although frankly, I think as soon as he gets enough money to replace her, he probably should consider that because she's kind of boring.
Probably need to buy the second one first. I would
buy the second one, start leveling her up, and then recycle the first one because she's boring.
3 rerolls and the apple, so he is sorted on all these utility purchases. So apart from that, it's just ramping some SPP on those blitzers, getting the next Witch Elf and leveling them up.
Right. As I say, we're just doing this very quickly. Helgen instantly taking the right advice. 2 block on his warriors. I like it. Guard Beast, Mighty Blow Pestigore, and a Wrestle and Niggle. That's a bit scary, but what can you do?
Yeah. Guard on the Beast of Nurgle. Now, Metal being a very well-known Nurgle coach. So it's always going to be a tough choice. I know, well, next, is the Guard over Stand Firm on the Beast of Nurgle. I don't think you can really go too wrong either way.
It tends to be, for me, how quickly the Beast levels. If it's the first Guard on the team, Guard is more important. If you've got a couple of Guard elsewhere, I prefer Stand Firm first. Mm-hmm. Because then you don't need to use it as an assist machine. You can use it purely for the tentacles because your Guard is coming elsewhere.
Yeah. Thread rerolls already been purchased on the team as well, so he is up and running. Prince Fatigue, the Pestigore, will probably quickly get himself to... Well, here's the debate as well. Block or Claw?
I think, given the division, he should get Claw as soon as humanly possible so he can actually fight back.
I massively disagree with that, Helgen. Do not bother taking Claw. Take Block, okay, mate?
I feel like that's a little bit selfish in that argument, but okay. Now we've got the hidden the terrors of the division, the ones that you never saw coming, as it were.
Yes.
I like the bears.
You watched this game, Metal, so you'll probably you could give the neutral perception on that. What happened?
I mean, I don't need to give the neutral perception because Lewish turned around and said it was a bit of a dicing. I mean, I know he enjoyed it and he was like, "Ooh, that's a big win," but he knew what he was doing. Because he's a good guy, is Lewish, and he's very aware that you had a bad time.
It wasn't the best time, but yes, Lewish. I can't grudge him too much. He did play Vampires last season in a GMan division with me, and he is playing Kislev this season in a GMan division with me.
Specifically, has said he doesn't like playing boring teams.
You're certainly not going to get a boring game with Kislev.
That's what I'm saying. So he's picked Kislev because it's entertaining, just like Vampires were entertaining, and he's playing a lot of like the niche teams. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure we'll get more into that viewpoint. We're going to move on to Chugman Milk, who is still one of the best named coaches in the entire division. Still doesn't have a motto, though. Does he?
Chug, we want a motto for next week, okay?
Yeah. Anything.
Or else.
But look, right, More Than a Fairy's super dead.
Is it?
It's a AV6 goblet.
It has one job. To dive in and wrestle.
It's super dead, but it's you can't fire it, but it's super dead. No. Like every single time it runs in and gets wrestled to the ground, it will probably get stamped to death.
True, but as long as it gets to wrestle, you don't really care.
I do like the Get Got, and I've seen footage, are both big terrors now with Claw.
Definitely, 2 big Claw Mighty Bull pieces there. It's really important on the Underworld to get that. I think that Claw Mighty Blow early is really important for them to try and compete numbers-wise.
Yeah, the Underworld to me are like a precision instrument. They're a surgical strike. And if you can't apply Claw Mighty Blow effectively, you probably just lose, right? So I'm watching out for Get Got to turn up on like Player of the Weeks when we do the fantasy Player of the Weeks, because he's gonna do some damage. Is that lad?
He is gonna get some got well.
Anyway, moving on to Basmans, who again is 2-0 at the minute in the division.
Basman, the Lucker noob.
Look at this, right? He says he'd prefer them the opposite way around. But my dad needs me alive, and I'm too pretty to die, having Strength 4 and Agi 5. He's like, they're on the wrong players, and he hates that they're on the wrong players. But what can you do?
Recycle both of them.
No, I don't think so. It's a nice.
No, they are 2 very good players.
Couple of wrestles I like.
Yep. The guard catcher's getting into a good MVP range to try and get a block on it as well, or dodge. The blitzers both having dodge. I mean, Agi5 blitzer, that is going to be a very good recovery piece. Also, you can take leap on it next level if needed for a bit of a more proactive ball recovery. 150k in the bank as well.
Leap into like strip, it'd be really good. The only downside is obviously because it's a blitzer, it's already got block rather than wrestle. Yeah. But what can you do? Strip. There's a lot of teams in this division that don't really have sure hands, so strip would actually be very powerful.
Yeah, and
I'd maybe even take strip before leap. Whilst Agi5 leap is nice, I think if you take strip first, he'll get more use out of just maybe doing YOLO cage dives with his Agi5 till he gets leap.
Definitely. The other option on the thrower, of course, is to buy yourself a second thrower once I'm Too Pretty to Die is taking it to its level up, because you can turn that into almost a blodge strength 4 roadblock, as it's were, and then get a new thrower to actually
you could just turn it into a ball carrier and have it actually be the runner of the team rather than the catches. But I don't know if it's a bit slow. I don't know. I just...
Movement 6 ball carrier is...
It's a
tough choice.
It's still better than the ball carrier we might be seeing on the next team.
Well, moving on to the next team.
It's looking nice.
It's
two blocks.
Too nice.
2 blocks on his Black Orcs, 2 guards on his blitzers, might blow on his blitzer. Still don't like the troll because he's got no goblin. Lyman's out, so he's running with a loner next time, and he's got his useless throw. Useless, but he's winning. So, like, clearly...
Cannot argue with that. Both games been a 2-1 against Meshuggah last round and a 2-0 against Helgens Nurgle the round before that. So some big wins in there.
I don't think there's much to say. He's proven it himself. Now, Gremzilla he's not called Gremzilla on Discord. He's actually a lovely dude who's been streaming. A guy called Hargrim. You may have seen him stream. And he's also doing recaps of certain divisions. And he's also a madman. Like, I watched his first game. If you look at his history, his first game was against the Deathroot Juniors.
4-3 against the Underworld.
He just went off, right? he just rolled tons of dice. Like, he hadn't seen a 3+ dodge he didn't want to take, put it that way. And he was just running around them. It was so silly. It was really enjoyable to watch, but obviously he needs to fight.
Is coming together, though.
He needs to fight. You can't have a niggle lineman. Just get it gone and use a loner.
Yeah, I would say you are probably better off using the loner over the niggle itself. But, I mean, Seraphim Sepia, that's a nice war dance. It's very... And even Flayed One Flesh when it comes back.
Maybe it isn't Hargrim. Is Hargrim in the
other division? Not the next division.
Maybe it is. Maybe I'm completely lying, yeah. Okay, no, we'll talk about Hargrim in a minute. I'm completely lying.
Gremzilla, please send your letter of complaints to at fullmetalcause@rebel.net.
I've been busy, Mcnugget. I've been busy, right? I'm trying to keep up with things, and there's 2 divisions now, and there's people in both of them, there's Wood Elves in both of them. Seraphim Sepia is great. Let's get back on topic. Mighty Blow War Dancers is so good.
Metal, no excuses, okay? You totally got the guy's name wrong. We'd like a public apology. Come on.
Right, let's look. Right, what I'm going to do is live on video. We're going to confirm the round. Hey, look at us go. Right, and we've got Cirque de Lures versus 2 Thin Courts. Now, so Cirque de Lures is Lushem's Kislev, and 2 Thin Courts is the what else?
Your man Gremzilla.
Yeah, something like that.
Or Hargrim, I'm not sure which one.
It might be one or the other. It might be Hargrim for the rest of the season now. I don't know. Yes, but so you can ignore everything I said about him. He doesn't do 3+ dodges. He does 2+ dodges and might blow things. It's fine. I've got to say, right, this could be either very, very high scoring or very, very not, depending on how the leap goes. Because there's going to be leaping.
Yeah, the 3+ across the board. It's either going to be 4-4 or double pitch clear. 0-0.
It's going to be like a 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 grind or something, because they just bounce off. They just fail leaps everywhere and drop the ball and don't sack each other, and it all goes wrong. It's one of those games where it's either going to all go wrong or it's going to go great, and it is. I don't think there's much middle of the ground, but I've kind of got to give it to the Kislev, you know. They've got some guard. They've got a bit more guard.
Dive and tackle,
which forces war dancers to leap as opposed to dodge, which already puts them on the back foot a little bit because it can control their ability. If you get dive and tackle on the war dancers, they've got to leap away from the dive and tackle and can't afford to leap into the cage.
Yeah, and they also do have their own Mighty Blow on the Blitzer with block. So block Mighty Blow, dive and tackle, running about the place can be quite scary. And they've got 2 guard, so even the bear could probably square up to the tree a bit.
I'm leaving it on the side. I'm leaning on the side of Lewis. However,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Agree or disagree?
I think, having played Lewis and the way he plays, I think Lewis could sneak it. But you can never rule out ward answers. I could see it being a draw or maybe a...
You can never truly rule out what else, to be honest.
No. I think if the AG5 was still in play for two thin coats, it would be a different story. But with the AG5 missing next game...
Yes, I agree. Now, we've got the battle of people who want to punch each other. Right, this is a great game for the Mighty Blow if you can find some powers or focus on the rats.
I think this could be a game where somebody's team just implodes.
It's very much a game where Helgen wants to... You know, the two Nurgle warriors with block want to be hitting goblins as much as possible because both down kind of negates the... You know, having block kind of negates the whole... blodge a bit. Well, dodge a bit, to be fair.
If you're Helgen, you probably... You use your rotters to sit on the troll. Just say, you know what, you could claw Mighty Blow rotters all you want, and you want to get Prince Fatigue, the Mighty Blow Pestigor, to take out the Mighty Blow Claw.
2 killers running at each other.
Yeah.
Now, I think, again, this is one of those ones that comes down to who does the most damage the quickest. And I kinda am going to give it to the team with Claw. Which is the
You're going for the underdog?
I am. I'm going for the underdog, I think. Because if he wins the toss, and he does, you know, instantly he can put Helgen down men on the LOS with his Claw Troll and his Mighty Blow Blitzer, and then he's got his Claw Mighty Blow Blitzer to maybe blitz off a slightly higher priority target, like a warrior or something, and I just feel like he might just have the edge of it.
Here's the question then. So there's 160k TV between the teams. Chugman Milk is at 11. What do you take?
So he's got 160. He's got 160 coming as well in inducements.
Yeah, so Chugman Milk's 160k under. He's only got 11 though.
And
he'll have 2 loner. Now, would you take the wizard or would you take the bribe and a loner goblin?
I personally
take
think
you at 12 and just hit stuff down and then kick it.
I personally would take the wizard and just win. But it could be painful not having a bench because Underworld tend to just explode in the clouds of...
Well, that's the thing.
Red.
If you lose the toss and Helgen goes boom, boom, boom and blitz, you could be down 4 players.
Now, the next one is very interesting. We've got an elf off in the most traditional sense. It's high elves versus wood elves. Maybe a season. 1380 TV taking on a Lachis at 1180. Now, there is a player differential because of Journeyman, I believe, so it's not quite 200. Yes, there's only 9 Dark Elves.
Yeah, so Dark Elves versus the High Elves. Normally this game would go to the Dark Elves instantly.
I don't know.
They would normally have the basic skills, so the blodge and stuff, to take advantage of the High Elves not having those skills, but looking at Bassman Drop's elf team, they have picked up a lot of SPP, and that strength and that agility can come into play quite well here. So this is another game where it'd be very hard to, in my opinion, to separate them.
It's going to be a high scoring game as well, but I think Basman's is going to go for a bit of a high scoring one, but he's got the tools to do the job. And thank you, Parent, for really only getting a babe out of it, so that's not a big deal as far as TV inducements.
So he also does have kick, which having Hagi 5 and Strength 4 can be extremely difficult to get around for the Dark Elves.
Now, the one that I'm sure you're waiting for, can a Dwarf team that's missing 2 blockers take on an Orc team that's missing a lineman?
I think the only chance I have, honestly, is if my Claw Mighty Blow just goes nuts.
I think this is one of those games where more than ever you're going to regret not taking a guard on your blockers. You've gone for a quite greedy build, and I think Orc Nudos is going to keep you honest, and he's going to...
Yeah. Taking the Mighty Blow over the guard, yes, it was greedy. My reason behind that was to try and rush the second Claw. And
I understand, at the same time, guard is so good, and you're about to see it when he's got 2 guard and 4 strength 4 players and a troll, and you've got 2 strength 4 players and no guard. I feel like
the only thing I'll say is my clan will tell you when the chips are down and McNaughton's up against the games that you should never win, magic can happen.
I'm not saying you should never win it. I'm just saying you're gonna have a rough one.
It's going to be rough, yes. We're actually going to be playing Monday night, so anybody that's around can have a watch.
That'll be a game. I might try and see if
I think Mopatello streams as well. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 90% sure he does.
Yes, you're right. So
it may be on stream.
Tune into that one. But I think that's going to be. It's going to be a case of if your Mighty Blow if your claw works, he's going to have a bad time. If it doesn't, you're probably going to get out muscled. So it's kind of a dicey one.
Yeah,
but I kind of want to lean on the side. I've played high TV orcs who go the guard spam route, and they are
very strong,
very tough to beat. So I'm gonna give it to Muppet.
I would as well.
Right.
Next up, we have the Battle of the Red in the Ledger versus the Dead in the Ledger.
Yeah.
Can a Strength 4 Ghoul survive Slazy? That's the only thing I care about.
Well, he doesn't. The one thing he doesn't have is tackle.
Tackle, yes.
But, although, then again, the Strength 4 guy doesn't have block, so...
Yeah, the one thing the Hornmaster doesn't have as well, though, is tackle.
True. And, yeah, but the Rapscallywags are at least a little bit slower, so you can catch them. I kind of... Undead are very, very powerful early. However, Skaven are never ruled out. And I don't know what the TV differential is, if there is a TV differential.
30k difference. Hordemaster does have a massive bench, though, so he does have 3 subs. And the Rapscallywags are sitting on 2 subs themselves.
So, really, there's probably going to be a lot of dead rats. The Rapscallywags are going to be hoping there's going to be some dead... Some re-dead? Re-dead? Yeah. Re-deads
yes.
For that Claw Mighty Blow. I'm going to give it to the Skaven. It might seem weird that I didn't give it to the player that had Claw Mighty Blow last time and was down strength, but the one thing the Skaven do have is Gutter Runners.
Yeah, the Skaven have a 1 push, 1 turn Gutter Runner in the ASAP Rocket. They have Claw Mighty Blow, and not to be forgotten, they do have Little Pain, which is a Strength 3 Wrestle Gutter Runner.
That's going to be a problem. There's no potato around him.
It's almost you're taking the Strength 4 Ghoul out of play by saying you're going to have to carry with it.
Yeah, otherwise I will one dice you with this guy with Wrestle, and you might have a bad day. Finally, there's another bit of an interesting one in the kind of the guys who are not having the best of times. T-Cold 101, Crocodile Dundee 011. They're kind of similar scorelines on the boards. They're not having the best season so far. It's Lizards versus Norse, and the Yeti might do the business, but if he doesn't, Norse are going to struggle in that matchup.
Yeah, the 3 block for the Saurus will help a lot there.
And the little fast guy.
And the little fast guy, definitely. Definitely what you say, if the Yeti can remove a few Saurus, it could be good. But you're looking at aiming for Saurus that don't have block, and Meshuggah is a very good positional coach. So he's not going to give you very many easy 2 dices. And even if you do get a 2 dice, you're going to have to be very careful about frenzy traps.
Yes. And also hitting block players and 1 in 9.
Yeah. So in those senses of the words, I'm just checking the TV difference here. So the Lizardmen are on 1170 and the Norse are on 1230. So there is going to be a bribe into play.
Or is it just going to be a babe? Because...
sorry, a babe, yeah, that's what I meant.
Claw Mighty Blow. He's not going to want to spend his bank at all because he needs to save up for that reroll, which could bite him. I don't know. I'm going to give this to the Lizards, but I think it's close.
Yeah, I would agree with giving it to the Lizards.
I think there's a lot of very exciting games this season, this week, even. There's going to be some that I think are going to be absolute shootouts. There's going to be some that are going to be utter brawls. But on the whole, I think it's a very interesting week.
Definitely.
So yeah, that was that. Who is going to get? Can Muppatillo and Basmans get themselves up there with 3-0-0? That'd be a great start to the season, getting 9 points in 3 games.
Very, very good pace, especially with the other coaches just behind them. on 101 or 110. So somebody like Gremzilla here, if he pulls the result out the bag,
or even
be a big
Lewis, if either
switcheroo
of them
there.
get like a draw or a loss, Lewis and Yusarian and T Cold are all there. It's I'm not saying like you and Chug and Helgen and Meshuggah and everyone else are out of the picture either, but it's a nice
an early pace to set.
Yeah, I mean at this point, everyone is watching Muppatillo and Basmans to see if they falter.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm just having a quick look to see when they do actually play each other.
That'll be a good game on its own.
Not for a few more weeks, so they do have some more time at the moment staying away from each other.
Quite late, actually, by the look of it. Maybe a season... Oh my god, it's really late. It might be the last week, you know? Week 10. Week 10. That's late in the season. But anyway, that was the 10A recap. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got anything to add, stick it in the comments or give us a PM on Discord. We have been looking at some match reports, and we'll focus a little bit more on the match reports and stuff, but we were very cautious that it was a double week, so we rather would have got some content out there and keep it kind of bite-sized for you.
Yep.
Right. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you again, Mcnugget, for joining us. Good luck in your match this week.
Pleasure as always.
Try not to get diced this time.
Well, as long as I stay away from Lewisham, me and Muppatillo have already been having a wee chat as well, so it should be good fun. But yep, next week hopefully we will bring you a bit more in depth on the bot reports and that. But
not
apart
just
from
that, and the coaches as well, because I have got. If you haven't filled them out yet, please consider going back and filling out the interviews. There's some fun questions in there. I've learned quite some interesting things about some of our coaches. Actually, there's some really interesting folks in this division when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, and I'm looking forward to chatting about that too. But we just don't have the time this week.
Exactly. But next week we'll be there for you, coaches, and just all of you remember and stay classy now.
Oh, you douchebag.